This is what I looked like at 15 years old, and this is what I looked like at 18. Here's how I gained 70 pounds in 3 years as a teen. This was me back in the day. Typical gamer kid who didn't touch grass too often. I had an addiction to video games. It was my way to escape the world, I would say. One day, I started to get rather bored of my gaming addiction and decided to find a new hobby. A lot of my friends recently started the gym at that age, and I decided to give it a try. I started researching on a familiar site called YouTube some working out tips and tricks, and this was one of the very first working out videos I actually stumbled across. As you could probably imagine, 15-year-old me was very inspired by that video, and I decided to join the gym the following week. Having some previous professional experience in athletics, I wasn't too overwhelmed with the idea of joining the gym and learning something new at the time. However, within the first week of me joining the gym, I encountered a issue. The first few days were fine. I went with one of my friends. He was the son of the owner, and he showed me basically around the equipment, the areas, and how to do some exercises correctly. I spent probably 3 days with him working out, and on the fourth, when I went by myself, and I quote, "That guy belongs in the women's section." This comment came from a group of older men, probably like mid-30s, 40s. Let's just say the confidence took a solid hit. I didn't go to the gym for probably a week or two after that. Thinking about it, I think it was about a week or two, to be honest. I felt too nervous to go and embarrassed because at the time, I'm absolutely skinny as anything. I think it was like 8 or 9 stone, and it was something that just completely put me off. It wasn't very nice at all. Just wanted to feel happy in my own body. That was just one small goal I had in my life at the time. So I knew that I was going to encounter these small bumps, and as long as I just kept going, I'm going to get there. So I took these photos the next week, and I decided, you know what? I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to keep track of my progress. I'm going to take photos, every 2 weeks to a month. And this is where the story begins. gained over 70 pounds, which was a pretty decent amount of weight, in my opinion, as someone who did it naturally. Only really had 2 proper years of going at it. Of course, fat, water, muscle, it's all going to be in there. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, I gained 70 pounds of muscle, because I didn't, all right? You know, if you are going to gain size, you're going to gain water weight, you're going to gain more fat, but you are also going to gain more muscle. And I also became a lot more confident in myself. A lot of people said, you know, you look great, you put on so much muscle. And people started asking me for advice. How do you do this properly? How did you gain so much? You're so big. How come, you know, we don't look like you? And, you know, I'm not going to try to sit here and say that I am some sort of natural phenomenon, because I'm absolutely not. I think my transformation was one of the most realistic ones out there. You know, I wasn't insanely shredded and big. I wasn't insanely huge and swole. I just gained a decent amount of weight over 3 years of consistently lifting. It's not anything special in my opinion. I felt more confident in myself, and I was proud of that, because that was somebody who I never used to be. There, just one thing to really think about, which I didn't actually realize at the time. Within the first 3 years of training, your body is going to be hyper responsive to basically anything that you throw at it in the gym. You're going to see gains so much faster within these 3 years, give or take, you know, a bit at the end. Maybe it's 2.5 for some people, maybe it's 3.5 others. We're all different individuals, which is great, but it gets you into sort of a false narrative, almost like it's going to continue like that forever. I mean, that's what I thought. I was looking at all of these professional bodybuilders, all of these professional, you know, fitness influencers online, and I was like, I'm gonna look like that in 5 years' time if this keeps up. Well, the reality is, when you get to that, when you get to the end of the newbie gains, that's, you know, putting on muscle and size is gonna decrease significantly. Uh, Hence the graph. You know, it's just gonna slow down, and that's just one thing you need to be aware of. One of the most important things I did on this bulk slash lean bulk was just staying in a calorie surplus if you want to gain size. In my opinion, in the first 3 years, considering you're going to make the most gains in that time period, as if you're going to stay natural, of course, you may as well utilize it. You know, I was eating a lot more calories than I needed to at the time, just to simply gain as much size as possible. You know, I wanted to make the most of it. Planning the diet as well is going to help significantly. You want to be in that situation where you have everything pretty much planned. As sad as it sounds, you know, if you want to make the best results, then you're going to have to put in the work behind it. And preparation, meal prep, it does go a long way. So now, basically going into some of the mistakes I made. I used to skip leg day. I'm pretty sure from my age of 15 to 16, I think I trained legs probably 5 times annually. I mean, that's something else right there. You do not want to be in that situation. Training every single muscle equally across the board, it led me to go to the gym and overtrain certain muscle groups, aka my arms. And I was training arms 3 times a week. I was doing way too many sets. I was not actually breaking down any muscle. It was going into an aerobic exercise, because I was doing like 6 sets of 15. If I could if I could do anything, I would go back to my younger self and say, you know, you don't need to be going to the gym 6 days, 7 days a week. For me, at the moment, I'm going 4, and it's completely great. You need to rest. Rest is important. Listen to your body. When I was in peak training, when I was training way too much and overtraining, I was causing so much pressure on my lower back and shoulders. And he specifically said, I want you to take 2 weeks off. I took 2 days because I started to feel better. I got into the ideology of, I'm young. I don't have to worry about injuries as much as other people. I just wanted to keep going to the gym every single week, PR, get bigger, get stronger, just gain as much muscle as possible. And that was where I made a really, really crucial mistake, because at one point I couldn't actually lift my shoulder. I probably couldn't lift it past here for a solid 8 weeks. I couldn't do bench press because I was overdoing it. I was not allowing my body to recover at all. I couldn't do shoulder press. I couldn't do anything with my shoulders at all. If you are in that position of where you're new or you're young and you just want to subside these things and just tell yourself, it's all right, I'll just, you know, I'll worry about it later, or I'll just take some painkillers. Just don't. Just listen to your body, for the love of God. Stop comparing yourself to others. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of social media influencers out there who are doing a really, really good job of inspiring young people. Just like, I was inspired. My inspiration used to be David Lade, Arnold, gave me that internal motivation and inspiration which I needed at the time to say, what, yeah, I'm gonna go through with this. The only issue is if you consume too much of this, we live in a world where social media is so easily accessible now than ever before. We've got TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, Twitter, if you use that, tons and tons of videos of people with incredible physiques, right? Absolutely shredded to the bone, diced. The top, literally like 0.1% of people. I'm looking at the people who are taking the videos in perfect lighting, looking at people who are taking the videos with a 4K HD 360 built-in LCD 1080p recording camera, right? I'm looking at people who have the best lighting from Zeus himself, casting it down from Olympus. This is one of the things that you got to realize is the people which you see on social media are only showing you what they want to see. And I absolutely love it when somebody will post a video of themselves or a picture. They're working out, they look absolutely insane. And then they'll take another photo. It'll be like, when you swipe to see the second photo. And it'll be like, oh, this was me also that day. Worst thing you can get yourself into is thinking that you have to look perfect, shredded, diced all the time. It's simply an unrealistic expectation comparing things, right? You compare yourself to other, if you were to compare your lives to everybody else's, it's just going to steal the joy from it. You are you're your own person, you have your own strengths, weaknesses. That's all you got to focus on. Don't be bothered about all this other stuff out there. Trust me, one of the biggest mistakes I made. This is part one of a 3-part series showing how my body has transformed over the past 9 years. If you did like this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in part 2.